Hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you the first step to learning guitar. If you want to learn guitar, start here. Don't learn anything else before you learn what I'm about to teach you. Most people look at learning guitar as like a line where you start here, you get better and better, and you end here. But there's so many things you can do on a guitar that being good at one thing doesn't mean you can do something else at all. So I like to look at learning guitar as like a circle. At the center of the circle, you got the most foundational stuff on guitar. Everything else starts here. Then, the further out you get, the more complex it gets. And each direction is a different skill, whether it be chords or scales, or playing songs, or singing while playing. You got to learn how to do those individually. So it all depends on what you want to learn. But no matter what, you're going to start here with these 6 chords. I call these the foundational chords to guitar. So, real quick, we're going to learn E, A, D, G, C, and F. And that's it. Most people don't know guitar at all. So if you learn those 6 chords, you're going to be better than 90% of people at guitar. And that's pretty cool. So, before I show you those chords, I'm just going to go through the strings and what frets are, because you need that to know how to learn a chord. So, starting with the lowest string, we have the E string, then the A string, then D, then G, then B, and then again we got E. So when I'm showing you these chords, I'm going to refer to all those strings as those letters. And when I'm talking about the 2 E strings, I'm going to say either high E or low E. Next up is frets. These little metal wires up and down your guitar, those are called frets. And to play a fret, you're going to put your finger just a little bit before the fret. On a right-handed guitar, that means a little bit to the left of it. So, let's start. First, we got the E chord. With E, we're going to start with the open E string. Then, with your middle finger, you're going to want to put it on the 2nd fret of the A string. Then with your ring finger, you're going to want to put it on the 2nd fret of the D string. Then your pointer finger is going to go on the 1st fret of the G string. And then open B and open high E. All together? Beautiful. Next up is A. Now with A, we're not going to play the open E string. We're going to start with the open A string. Then, with your pointer finger, you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the D string. With your ring finger, you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the G string. And then your ring finger is going to go on the 2nd fret of the B string. Add an open high E, and you got A. Now, a lot of people play A with their middle finger and their pointer finger switched from what I showed you. So they will have their middle finger on the D string and their pointer finger on the G string. It all comes down to personal preference, but for a lot of these chords, and especially once you get into more complex chords, it's going to be important for you to play them the exact way you learn them, because that's just the most efficient way. But it's not really more efficient to do this as opposed to this. So, especially with A, you can switch around a little bit. Alright, next up we got D. Now with D, we're not going to play the open E or the open A. We're going to start with the D, and that one's going to be open. Next up, you're going to put your pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Then, you're going to put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then you're going to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the high E string. All together? Now at this point you might notice your chords sounding kind of like this. That just means you're not pushing down hard enough. Or you're muting the strings with your other fingers. Either way, this is a quick little tip to help you. So, on the D chord, I just showed you that your pointer finger and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G and the high E strings. Think of those fingers as like spider fangs. You know how spider fangs go down like that and they attack whatever they're going to attack? Do the same thing with your fingers. Just push them down. You see there I got the notes without even having to pluck it. That'll come with time, but for now, just try to generate enough force to do it so that you can play it right. Make sure your fingers aren't interfering with each other. Sometimes you might accidentally put your ring finger down like this, and then... So even though I was pushing down hard enough there, I got a different chord. And, you know, that's a nice chord, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for that. So having your fingers arched like this can help a lot. Next up is G. And G, along with D, are two of the hardest chords for beginners. Take your time and don't get discouraged. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Don't get discouraged. It's really hard to do this. Just the fact that you're trying is awesome. And if you give up, that's not awesome. So, for G, we're going to start on the low E string. Put your middle finger on the 3rd fret. Then, on the A string, put your pointer finger on the 2nd fret. For the G and the D strings, those are both open. And then on the B string, you're going to put your ring finger on the 3rd fret. And on the E string, you're going to put your pinky on the 3rd fret. All together? Next is C. C is a little bit easier than G and D, but it's a little harder than E and A. I think E and A are the easiest. So, C. Just like with A, we're not going to play the low E. We're going to start with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. Then, on the D string, you're going to put your middle finger on the 2nd fret. Open G string, and then you're going to put your pointer finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Add the open E at the top. All together, we got... It's a very pretty chord. Last but not least, we got F. Now, like with D, we're not going to play the low E string or the A string. We're going to start with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. Then, you're going to use your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Then, with your pointer finger, you're going to play on the 1st fret of the B string. And also with your pointer finger, you're going to play on the 1st fret of the high E string. All together? Now, what I'm doing here is called a bar. Just doing a slight bar with the 2 highest strings, playing them both with the same finger. To do that, you just kind of flatten your finger out. I told you the arch earlier, but you're going to flatten it out for this. So all together, you go like that. Now, just a few tips. If you hear your notes going wrong, like this, you're going to want to play each note individually to see where you're messing up. So instead of playing the full chord like, you're going to go. So there you heard the A string and the high E string both sounded good. But these 3 in the middle didn't. Again, that's just because I wasn't pushing down hard enough. There could be other reasons why your chords don't sound right. And playing it slow like that lets you figure out where you're messing up and how. Now, before you do anything else, you should obviously memorize those chords, but you should also get comfortable switching between them. First start with E and A and just kind of go. Now, for you that might look more like. Wait. Oh, okay, I was doing that wrong. Okay. A goes here, and here, and so that might be as fast as that you can switch between two chords, and that's okay. That's completely normal. I was like that at one point. Everybody who's ever played guitar was like that at one point. Don't get discouraged. That's bad. So, starting with E and A, just get used to switching back and forth, be able to do it relatively quickly. Then it might be easy for you to go on to C and F and switch between those. Notice for this, you don't even have to move your pointer finger at all. It just stays in the same spot. All you do is start with the bar on the F, and then you take the bar off for the C. And then lastly, getting G and D down. And once you can play through all of 6 of those chords, you know how to play guitar. Now, I think the best way to learn how to switch in between chords is to just kind of try to play songs. So, I got a few songs here that use just these chords. If you like rock and roll music, you might want to try to learn how to play What I Got by Sublime. That just goes D to G. Pretty nice. Or if you like the older stuff, you might want to learn, let's say, The Seeker by the Who. That one just goes A to D. And then the turnaround goes C. If you like country, you might want to learn Chicken Fried by Zach Brown. That goes G, up to D, and then to C, and then back to D. If you like rap, you might want to learn Industry Baby by Lil Nas. That one will go D, C to G. Or if you just like pop, well, most pop songs ever will just use those chords. So maybe just look up the chords to a song you like, and if it just uses those, go for it. If not, well, that could be a good goal for you after you learn these chords. If you like folk music, you could learn the Rattling Bog. If you like old school soul music, maybe try Use Me by Bill Withers. That one will just go E to A. So many songs just use those chords. So just try around. Look for songs that use those chords. Maybe you could look it up on Google, songs that just use E, A, D, G, C, and F. And once you start learning songs, you're a guitar player. If you can play a song on guitar, you're a guitar player. So if this video has helped you get started on guitar, make sure to throw me a like, throw me a comment, share the video with your friends who might want to learn guitar, whatever. Just try to help me out, I'm just starting this channel. I need all the help I can get.